everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and today I'm reviewing one of my absolute must-have products. It is the Hatch Baby Rest. It is a nightlight, an okay to wake, an alarm clock, a white noise machine, all wrapped into one, and we ended up getting this for Olivia when she was a toddler. We actually didn't have it when she was a baby. We got it when she started getting out of her bed, and so we wanted it to be like, okay, when the light turns a certain color, you can get up from the bed, and it's programmable, so I can put in exactly what time I want her to be able to get up. You can play music at night and have it on a timer for that. There are just so many possibilities as far as programming it. You can program it like every Monday, set it for certain times. Every whatever day, I could do different times for the weekends versus days of the week, and it's just so programmable and nice and easy, and we have loved it. Over Christmas, I ended up purchasing one for Stella as well, but I have been using white noise just on an iPad, and Johnny suggested we just use Olivia's iPad for the white noise. So right now we're doing that instead of using her Hatch light, but when she's in her own room, we will end up getting another Hatch light. So I ended up returning that one, and my whole thought was, eventually we could just use Olivia's Hatch light and just use the same one, but she still uses it. She still loves it. She'll start her music. She'll be up here playing in her bedrooms right off of this room. So she'll turn on the music on the Hatch light and she'll just play in here listening to the lullaby music. And she'll also play it in her room before she goes to bed. We still use it as an okay to wake, but she's old enough now that she can come out of her room and play, and it's no big deal when she wakes up. But when she was little, you know, she needs to stay put. So we don't really use it for the okay to wake anymore, but she still is using it. So I hate to take it away from her, but we're hoping by the time Stella needs it that Olivia will be done with hers. So I'm not going to take it from Olivia if she's still using it and enjoying it, but I don't want to have to buy two. It's just one of those cheap things I thought about, like, yeah, we can just use the iPad for white noise right now, and I don't want to have to buy two. So hopefully we can just give that one down to Stella when the time comes, but we just love that thing. There is a newer version that has an actual time on it, whereas the one that we have doesn't show an actual time. That's something to keep in mind. I'm going to show you the app. It's just an app on your phone. Right there it says Rest. I'll turn up the brightness so you guys can see a little bit better. It's an icon. It just says Rest, and you link it to the actual Hatch Baby Rest. So you can have multiple devices hooked up. Sorry, we're getting a glare on that. So I click on Olivia's, and you can program in a set number of favorites. You can see on the bottom there, those are the favorites I programmed in. So if I just touch the ring on the top of the Hatch, it'll just play those favorites and it'll cycle through those ones. So that's what she does a lot. She'll just press it until she gets to one of her favorites, but you can customize it any way you want. Here's the actual like edit screen. I'll turn it on and you'll be able to hear it possibly. So it'll brighten the screen, but you can change it to rainbow. You can change it to just any color. It has set colors or custom colors, and you can use a color wheel and find exactly the color that you want it to be for the nightlight part of it. You can also adjust the volume and the brightness. So it's just on sliders for the brightness and the volume. That's really loud. I have it always really low. So it's in the other room. You can still hear it on the low. So I think that's good. Obviously on and off, you can set it on a timer. You got programs. It's just really nice to be able to customize it. And I can also adjust it from a different room. I definitely like this feature that I can turn it off and on as needed as well. So like some days we'd have to wake up early. I would go ahead and get myself ready while she's still sleeping and then start it so that the music will kind of wake her up before I actually go in and wake her up. And that's been really nice to just give her that like really gentle wake up time sometimes. I'm going to turn it off so it doesn't keep playing, but I just absolutely love all the customizability of it. And I will show you guys the actual light itself and go through the rainbow colors. can't say enough great things about it. The one downside with this light is the power cord is a micro USB. That's like my least favorite cords. It's the same kind of cord that hooks to our baby monitor, and they can be finicky, and so you have to get it just right sometimes. If it gets loose, it just does not work, so you have to make sure it's plugged in nice and tight. We've had problems with the baby monitor where we've had to wiggle it to make sure that the connection is there, not so much with the light, but unfortunately we have had a toddler playing in there and accidentally knock the cord just enough that it's not working. So I would go and try to mess with it and it's not plugged in, so I have to go in, physically plug it back in because the cords are just not super tight. I wish they used a different cord than that, or USB-C. I've really been liking now that my Apple stuff has USB-C. So I hope that they redo the cord someday because the micro USBs are just terrible. I don't like them in general. So that's really my only complaint with it, is it has the micro USB. But other than that, it's been a great thing, and it's definitely one of the top baby must-haves. And I think once Stella moves into her own room, we'll either give her Olivia's if Olivia's done with it, or I will go ahead and buy another one, even though I just bought one and returned one, because I want her to have it. And I like the nightlight feature on it. It keeps gentle light, and you can do it where you just have the sound without the light, or you can do it with just the light and not the sound, so you don't have to do both. And I just love that it's programmable. I love that at a certain age they can turn it on and off themselves. So to turn it on, you just tap the circle on the top. If you don't want to use your phone, there's also all the features on the bottom of the light, and I love how clean and sleek the light itself looks because there's no buttons and things all over it, so they're all hidden on the bottom, and it's really nice to just be able to touch the ring at the top. Now to turn it off, you just have to touch like 2 places on the top. So generally just put your hand on it or go like that and touch 2 sides of that metal ring, and it works really nicely. I'm just blown away how nice it is. And now with all of this said, and as much as I love it, this thing is not cheap at all. It's like 60 bucks. So keep that in mind. They do sell it at Target, and I'm sure it probably goes on sale at some point, but I haven't found really good sales on them ever. So just keep that in mind. It is a very expensive gadget for a baby, but it's totally worth it, and we will gladly purchase one again when the time comes. We just weren't ready to use it yet, and Johnny thought it was kind of silly to like hold on to it for a while. I think it's a really fun light for kids too. She turns it on usually before bedtime, and she'll listen to it for a while before nodding off to sleep. I forgot to mention one key feature. You can program it in and it can be locked, so they can't mess with it. As much as like they press the buttons or the top, they can't mess with it once you have it locked. So that's something that I do during the night. At a certain time at night, it will cut off completely and she will not be able to return it on. So it's not one of those things that if she turns it on at night, it can stay on all night and we forget about it. I have it just programmed in every day that it goes dark and nobody can mess with it until it turns on in the morning. So that's just a feature that's really nice, especially with tiny ones where they like want to button mash and things. You can definitely set it and make it so that they can't mess with it. And as far as the light itself, it's pretty indestructible. It has fallen off the shelf quite a few times. It's the same height as the shelves back there because she has a cube that's a 4 cube instead of an 8 cube. So it's fallen off quite a few times. It's not had any problems whatsoever. So it's pretty durable, and I've been really happy with the quality. I like the app especially, and it's one of those purchases that I'm just so glad that we made. It makes such a big difference. She uses it pretty much every day, and sometimes twice a day if it's on the wake up cycle as well. We don't really use the OK to Wake, but it was so helpful when she was a toddler, and just getting in a toddler bed, it helped keep her in the bed and make sure she was getting good sleep and she wasn't getting up and out of her bed. But it really, I guess it really depends on the kid, because some kids will pay attention to the light and some kids won't. And it took her like 2 days of me reminding her, and she understood, like, you stay in your bed until the light turns orange and then you can get up and play. But that part really depends on the kid if they're gonna actually listen to the light or not. But it's something that has worked for us and it was great, and we'll be using it for Stella as well. So I hope you guys like this review. I feel like this was long overdue, because as soon as we got the light and I figured out the features of it, I fell in love with this thing, and it's one of my favorite baby products. I've always thought about doing a review for it and then just never got around to doing it. So I'm glad to finally have this review done. It's one of the things I would gladly repurchase, and I recommend it to everybody. And it does have a lot of white noise features too, so you could use it from the start with a baby. Stella just really liked the shower noise, and I happened to find this MP3 and we've been using that so far, but it'll be really nice to use when she's a little bit older. So I hope you guys enjoy this review. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.